We will commence. So I'll just do the general greeting. Thank you all for coming along. And welcome to Witty Storytellers Toastmasters Club, specialising in storytelling and humour. And I will be your greeter and video monitor for today. And at the end of the meeting, I will try to provide feedback on how everyone did on their screen presence. I'd like you to adopt the following club protocols for the benefit of everybody in attendance. We encourage you to use earphones or headsets for improved audio experience for the audience. If you are not speaking, we encourage you to kindly mute your microphone to provide as noise-free an environment as possible for our speakers. You can find the microphone button at the bottom left of your screen, which you can click on to mute or unmute yourself. Some computers, I believe, you can double-click on the space button. That might work for yours. We'd like to see you and see your smiling face as well. So as much as possible, please keep your video on. We do understand, however, that sometimes you need to switch it off to go and do something or deal with something else. So that's fine. But as much as possible, please keep your video on. Again, your camera button is to the right next to the microphone button at the bottom left of your screen. Please note that we do record these sessions and will be using them for the club's public relations activities. So that's another reason, if you prefer not to be posted on anything like social media, you may turn your video off. You can chat with individual members or everyone in the meeting using the chat button at the bottom of your screen. However, please kindly avoid posting chat during speeches so that everyone has a chance to concentrate on the speech, and it can also be distracting. By all means, send quick notes or feedback, however, when the speaker has finished. I do appreciate it. We have a view gallery on the top right corner of your screen. You can click on it to toggle between different views. For example, you could choose to just watch the speaker, have them be the main presence on your screen. If you have your audio on, please kindly remember to silence your phone. Remember to smile and show active support to your fellow Toastmasters throughout the meeting. Please enjoy. Back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you, Miriam, for that job as Sergeant-at-Arms, and I thank you for doing that so particularly well. Hello, everybody. My name is Graham Cairns, and I am your president and also the Toastmaster for today, but we'll get to that in just a moment. As the president of the club, I would like to welcome you all along to Witty Storytellers Online. I note that we have some guests here, so I'm going to do the rounds and just ask the guests to just say a couple of words about who you are and why you're here today. Now, Pi, you're still a guest, I understand, are you not? We haven't managed to cajole you into joining yet.
Yes.
Please feel free to introduce yourself.
Oh, hi everyone. I'm Pai Ganzon. This is basically my third session for Toastmaster. I've been meaning to join Toastmaster since, I don't know, 5 years ago, but I can't seem to find the time. But thankfully, one of the good things that this pandemic has done is I finally able to find time to join several, projects, which includes this one. And I'm very, very happy to be part of this. And thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
having me.
Thank you, Pi, and thank you once again for coming back. Now, Yvonne, hello, welcome back.
Hello, President Graham, and everyone. It's so happy to join the meeting again. And I just say I missed Swara. I long time didn't see her. So today I see her. I'm so happy. And I'm also very happy to see everyone here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Yvonne. Now, Hero, I noticed is back. Hello, Hero. If you'd like to introduce yourself.
Hi, this is my second time here. I'm sort of trying to, thank you very much for, having me here. I'm trying to.
I think you've just muted, Hero.
Yeah, accidentally. Sorry. So I'm trying to turn on the video, but my privacy setting doesn't allow. So just give me a second. A little bit later, I'll do that. Yes, so I'm trying to find a sort of a suitable club for me to join, and as I think Pi said, the pandemic allows me to actually go around and check out many different clubs, just in the convenience of being in my basically room. So this is a very good, in a way, opportunity. So thank you very much for having me here.
Well, thank you for coming back, and I hope that we can convince you that of all of the clubs in all the world, this joint is the one that you should join, to paraphrase.
I certainly like the van behind you.
Well, that's because of the theme of the meeting, which we'll get to in just a moment. But before we do, Jagdish, welcome along.
Hello, good morning all.
Quick introduction.
Well, yeah, hi, this is Jagdish Kumar. I've joined the club a few guest sessions, and I've recently, I suppose, I'm not 100% sure, I submitted my membership. I'm really, taken by the number of interactions that I've had so far as a guest. And it's a very, interesting conversation that I look forward to on most of the Sunday mornings between 6 to 7:30, because it boosts my confidence. That's the most important part. So yeah.
Thank you. And Jagdish, if you have joined and I haven't managed to catch up with that, my sincere apologies. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Witty Storytellers Online. Thank you, everybody, for coming along. Something that one of my clubs does that I would like to see introduced to this club if we get a chance is a thing called Boastmaster, where if you've achieved something in the last couple of weeks since we met that is worth sharing, then please feel to share it. For example, I will begin by boasting that one of the reasons why I am not taking on any club roles next year other than immediate past president is because for my sins, I have just been appointed the Eastern Division Director of District 69 Toastmasters. So yay me! Who else has got something? Who else has got something they want to boast about that's happened in the last couple of weeks? Anybody?
Hi, John Khalid here. Yeah. Yes, I've just been elected area director for G1 in 102. So
excellent job.
It was last week I was elected. Yeah.
Huzzah, huzzah, well done. Congratulations. Anybody else got any boasts they want to boast about? Yes, Julie.
My granddaughter came to visit and hold my hand.
Good to see you.
Really nice.
Did I hear somebody else saying, was it Hero? Were you going to say something?
I kept running. I decided to do some exercise because that's the only thing you can do while you're working from home. And last couple of weeks, I've been running over 5K to actually 10K every single day. So I think that's some sort of achievement.
That is indeed well done. Getting out there, getting amongst it. Yeah, you may not be the fastest runner, but you're certainly faster than those that aren't running at all. Talking of running, Miriam, today was that 14K with weights?
With a little bit of weight, yes. I was what is called the sweeper. So it was my job to follow all the runners around. There were two of us, but so I had first aid gear and extra water that I carried in case somebody fell down and hurt themselves. And
cool.
It's in the forest. So yeah, it was fun.
14K is a fair distance too. Congratulations. Now, Kamal, you had something?
Yeah, speaking of running, I actually returned to exercising regularly and taking my boxing session as well. So far, I'm down 10 kilograms.
Well done. All right, anybody else got anything? Yes, Karen.
Yes, when Hero mentioned staying in because of working from home, I realized, oh, I got I'm all vaccinated this week. I got it on Wednesday, was my second one, so of Moderna, and I'm done. Although they said now there's going to be a third one in the fall for the variants, but done. I'm done.
Cool.
I'm happy
Well
about
done, well done. I know that a few of us have been inoculated, either using the Moderna or the AstraZeneca or the Johnson & Johnson or the, what's the other one that I'm missing out? Anyway, it doesn't really matter. Congratulations to everybody who's had the jab. Cheryl.
Yes, hello everybody. Just yesterday, I conducted my first group coaching sessions. I've been putting that off for a long time. Finally, I've done it, and I've received very good and positive feedback from all the attendees.
Well done, Cheryl. Well done, everybody, for something to boast about. In these difficult times, I think it is worthwhile our blowing our own trumpets occasionally, just to let everybody know that, yes, we can still achieve, no matter how difficult things might otherwise be. So well done, everybody. Time now to move to the agenda, because we are now running a couple of minutes late because I just blew the time. Talking of time, let me introduce our timekeeper for today, and she can tell us how she is going to indicate time to us. Please, Karen, it's all yours.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. For timing, Graham will be 10, 14, and 15 minutes for the, he'll get, well, forgot, let me get the colors. Okay, he'll get the green at 10. At 14, he'll get the yellow. And at 15, he'll get the red. And I won't show the colors for all the others, but at Cheryl, we'll get it for 20, 24, and 25. Brian will get 5, 6, and 7. Table topics or table stories, 1, 1.5, and 2. And evaluation, evaluators, 3, 4, and 5. So that's it. Thank you.
Fabulous. Thank you, Karen. Thank you for that. So that's the timing. The reason that we time is not because we're fixated on it, but because if we take too much time, then we're stealing somebody else, since there is only a limited amount of time in a meeting. On that note, I am going to get the meeting officially underway. And the theme for today's meeting is International Day of Living Together in Peace. That's why the hippie bus behind me. International Day of Living Together in Peace seeks to advocate for world peace. The day aims to encourage the international community to promote peace, tolerance, inclusion, understanding, and solidarity. It encourages living together in peace by listening, recognizing, and respecting others. This day emphasizes inclusion and tolerance, with the goal being the uniting of all communities, all religions, all races. International Day of Living Together in Peace was established back in 1997 by the UN General Assembly, and it is observed annually on May the 16th. So that is the theme for today's meeting. Now, we have a number of things on today's meeting which are a little unusual. We have 2 stories, one of them being a workshop, if you like, or a webinar, another being a speech and story which has been practiced once but might need to be polished a little further. And instead of our usual storytelling workshop today, I've usurped that time for the club elections. But we will also have our story topics. We'll have a roundtable evaluation of our first speech and a formal evaluation by Svetlana of our second. There'll be lots more coming up, including a general evaluation. So let's get this show on the road. Vroom goes the bus behind me. All right, our first presenter today is going to be Cheryl, and Cheryl is doing something that is a little unusual, and I just need to find my notes here so that I get this right. Cheryl is going to be presenting speech 5 from the Presentation Mastery Manual, which is to manage online meetings. This is a major project which addresses how to effectively conduct an online meeting and a webinar, to prepare and organize necessary visual aids, and to lead with confidence. The purpose, to practice facilitating an online meeting or leading a webinar, which somehow seems appropriate with an online storytelling club like ours. Over 20 to 25 minutes, there will be a meeting with fellow Toastmasters. Now, Cheryl got to determine the topic of her meeting, to research and use the software that best suits her needs and geographic area, to invite the evaluators, we are all evaluators in this one, to participate in the online meeting. And once Cheryl completes her assignment, gets approval from the Vice President of Education. And that's what we're doing here today. The speech timings for this, as mentioned, are 20, 24 and 25. So, ladies and gentlemen, with her speech 5 from Presentation Mastery, Manage Online Meetings, Getting Unstuck, please welcome Cheryl.
Good afternoon, everybody, or good morning. May I request you to pin me so that you maximize or you get the most out of the presentation, so you can see me and my slides better. Okay.
I've just spotlighted you so everybody will see you.
Thank you very much. And although from our last week's meeting, I said you tried to interrupt me as a role play, I encourage you to do the same. If you have any questions, if you have any reactions, feel free to do so. It can create our webinar, because this is going to be a long one, 20 to 25 minutes. It's going to be a long one for you to just keep on listening. So anytime you have a question, either chat in the chat box or simply unmute yourself. Okay? So for today, I'll be discussing major roadblocks that people have in achieving their goals. This is to create awareness and try to overcome them. For sure, all of us can benefit from this webinar, no matter how successful or happy we are already in our lives. That's why we are here in Toastmasters. We like to practice, we like to learn, we like to receive feedback, because we have a goal to keep on improving. That's our goal. Now, in achieving our goals, we sometimes, or most of the times, get stuck. And what is stuck? Like my slide right now. Okay. Stuck is when you're unable to move or set in a particular position, place, or way of thinking. Or you may be experiencing something a little more subtle. Type in the chat box the number that resonates with you. Number 1, if you procrastinate. You'll say, I'll do it later. Or when you're creating a speech, you're like, let me look for the nicest fonts and the best graphics to go with my presentation. Or maybe you say, I think I need to research further, listen to more podcasts, read more blogs, or watch more YouTube. Type number 2, if you have low confidence. You may say, I don't think I can do this, or I don't think this is really for me. Type number 3, if you rationalize. You may think, it's not really worth my time, or I don't really need more money, and I'm good where I am. Number 4, if you're feeling any kind of shame, like, I tried this before, but I failed, and people laughed at me. Or number 5, fear of judgment. What will people think of me? Thanks, Salvi. How about the others? All right. Many of us procrastinate. Like me, you might ask, why does this model doesn't work? Okay. My slides are stuck again. All right. Why does this model doesn't work? We set goals, we take actions, and get results. Not all the time. And the simple answer is because of our brain. Now, let me quickly explain how our brain works. It's like an iceberg. You see, 5% is on the surface, and then 95% is underneath. 5% is your analysis, your behavior, the decisions you've made. But actually, there's a much bigger that we don't see underneath. 95% that resides in our subconscious minds, like fears, beliefs and stories, habits, stress, and mindset. And when they do not align, or they don't agree with each other, who do you think will win? Who do you think will prevail? Looks like we have a lot of procrastinators here. And I think we can all agree that our subconscious minds always wins. Now, for easier reference, let me rename our subconscious mind. And instead of the 800-pound gorilla that many psychologists use, let me name it our baby boss. Yes, that's my little baby. When I think he's 6 months old. So why do you say a baby boss or an 800-pound gorilla? Because an 800-pound gorilla or a baby boss throws a fit, tantrums, cries a lot if they don't get what they want. And what does it want? It wants comfort. It wants what's familiar. And change is very critical to achieving goals, but it is perceived as a threat by the subconscious mind or the baby boss. And one of the major things the baby boss goes through when changing is fear. Fear can make us fight, flight, or faint. And in the subtler form, it can make us procrastinate or rationalize. And the trick is, fear is a good thing, no? It has protected us in many ways. It protected us when we were a child from falling, from burning, or just really staying alive. But the trick is, the brain has to be told that these changes are not actual life and death threats, that it can calm down and it's okay. Say it's table topic time, and the table topics master asks for a volunteer. Your conscious mind tells you, I should actually be volunteering every time to practice on my public speaking skills. But your subconscious mind, the baby boss, telling you, no, I don't want to speak. So you fight, like you tell the table topics master you don't want to speak. You fly, as in you leave Zoom as if there's a connection problem, and all other sorts of things. So how do we tame a baby boss or a crying baby boss because of fear? First is we take deep breaths. Best 6 deep breaths, and tell the baby boss that this is actually not a life-threatening threat, that it can come down and it's actually good for you. And then reflect on these questions. What can I gain from overcoming this fear? Or what have I lost in the past for giving in to this fear? And hopefully, you can take number 3 by taking baby steps, by simply volunteering, or when the table topics master call you, you're able to participate well. Now, of course, the baby boss needs practice. It does not happen one time. You need to expose yourself regularly to position where you can overcome fear. Now, second major obstacle, beliefs and stories. It is our automatic way of thinking and the filter through which we see or interpret things. Here are some quick examples. I'm not smart enough. I'm resilient and persistent. I've tried and failed before, and I have the skills needed to succeed, or money does not grow on trees. Can you type in the chat box again what other beliefs or stories we regularly tell ourselves, whether it's good or bad. Any of these beliefs or stories can either limit us or empower us. Now, let me show you who this guy is. Anybody knows who this guy is?
That Roger
No?
Bannister?
You're right, Graham. He is Roger Bannister. And who is he? Since prior 1954, doctors believe that our body or our heart can explode if we run a mile in less than 4 minutes. So no one did it until Roger Bannister did. His record as the first man to run a mile in less than 4 minutes only lasted 46 days. Since he broke that record, at least 40 people did it in a year. Imagine that. People believe it cannot be done except for Roger Bannister. And since he didn't believe it, he made it happen. And all the other people who followed him actually did too. This is the power of belief. People stopped trying because they believed the doctors. And because Bannister did not, he paved the way for so many people to break such barrier. I'm just checking our answers in the chat box. Thank you, Miriam. Not pretending to be an expert. Okay. Going back, beliefs can reside in the conscious and subconscious mind too. The conscious minds are explicit. Those we articulate. Say you read a book on The Secret or you attended a seminar. And they said, you must utter the words, I can become a millionaire. I'm going to be rich and happy. I have the skills needed. I'm resilient and persistent. Which you did. You say it every day, but it doesn't happen. Why? That's because of our implicit beliefs. Our implicit beliefs can say, well, actually, I'm too old. I've tried and failed before. I'm not smart enough. And I don't deserve to succeed. So what do we do when the baby boss is crying because the implicit and the explicit belief are not aligned? We can tame it. There are several ways we can do. There are several steps we can do so we can create new beliefs. Beliefs that will actually support our goal. Number one is meditate. So this can be a very long discussion. You can look it up in the internet. What are the several other benefits of meditation? But scientists were saying your brains can be open to new ideas when you meditate. And when you meditate, you can teach your brain new and empowering beliefs. My personal favorite in meditating is using an app called Headspace. You can find other apps that may work for you, but just set aside maybe 10-20 minutes a day to calm down, observe your breath so that it can open your minds. Another step is find evidences to support new and empowering beliefs. Say you have a belief that I'm too old to get rich, no? Or to work on it. Look for inspirations, like people who got rich after their 50s or 60s, like Colonel Sanders of Kentucky Fried Chicken. He actually only started KFC when he was after his retirement. Or my personal story. It took a while for me to launch my life coaching career because of many limiting beliefs. Like I think people might think coaching is just really for the lame or the weak, or that I don't have the necessary experience or wisdom to coach. Now, I tried to change this by thinking of empowering beliefs. Like many successful people actually have coaches, And you will see this in the billion-dollar industry of self-help books. A lot of people are trying to improve themselves, even though they're already successful. And I'm in the coaching industry, or I've been coaching in my workplace for more than 15 years. And I've went through a number of challenges, overcame them, and I've ended up, I think, smarter or wiser and stronger. These are the things I can share when I coach my coachees. And just like what I shared today, just yesterday, I was able to finally do a group coaching with a number of people and receive very good feedback about it. I'm trying to build new evidences to support my empowering beliefs. Number 3, you can also use the power of yet. Having a growth mindset instead of a fixed mindset. So how does it work? For example, you might say that I'm not good with money. You can, instead of saying that, you can tell yourself, trick your brain by saying, I'm not good with money yet. It tricks the brain and tells the brain that you can actually learn to be one. Or I'm not good in public speaking yet. And it tells your brain that you can actually research, practice, and join Toastmasters to be one. Now, can you create, or can you think of examples of these limiting beliefs and add yet to it? And number 4 is take baby steps. Again, can't over communicate how important taking baby steps or taking actions. Because only when you take actions that you can create new empowering beliefs, new evidences to support your beliefs. And even if you fail on your first attempt, the attempt itself will help you feel more confident to keep on trying. Now, what kinds of baby steps can you think of? Maybe in public speaking. You don't jump to immediately speaking to 500, 1,000 people, right? But you can join Toastmasters where it is a safe and fun learning environment that will support you. Let's say you're not good with money yet. You can look it up in the internet. What are the ways to be more good with money, and take at least one step a week to follow. Now, fears and beliefs are only 2 out of 5 that usually gets us stuck or gets in the way of in reaching our goals. A little quick summary. In overcoming fear, take 6 deep breaths, reflect on what you can gain and lose, and take baby steps. Or in creating new beliefs and empowering beliefs, meditate, find evidence to support new and empowering beliefs, use the power of yet, and again, take baby steps. So these are just 2 of those and some of the steps that you can take. But they are already very powerful, and I encourage you to practice them. But very important is to practice self-care. Of course, you will not get it on your first attempt. Don't judge yourself, and don't beat yourself up. Trust yourself that it's really part of changing, failing, and then trying it again. Now, although the topic is really on self-development, I want to weigh in on our theme today, International Day of Living Together in Peace. It's such a beautiful and timeless topic or theme. And many conflicts, relationship issues, and even war starts from the war within us. Many of these wars are born out of fears, beliefs, and stories. All the more that we need to pay attention to these things and see how it can make us walk towards peace rather than away from it. Now, should you need more help in understanding your fears or limiting beliefs, we can discuss further. I have a 21 days of empowerment program where you can access daily reflection guide, access to steps on how to overcome these beliefs or these fears. And then you can also get 3 one-on-one coaching with me, so we can flesh it out deeper. So get unstuck and get that goals achieved and live in peace with yourself and with others. If we still have time, I'd like to answer some of your questions if you have any.
I was going to say, Madam Timekeeper, how much time has Cheryl got left?
Still 5 minutes, hasn't even hit 20 yet.
Cool.
Okay.
So, questions for Cheryl? I'll remove the spotlight so that we can go back into gallery view. Are there any questions for Cheryl? If not, yes, Brian, you have one.
And the last thing you brought up about the 21 days. Now I've heard that at a Toastmaster club where it was slightly different. It was 21 days to make or break a habit. And in my case I decided I would write for 21 days. And I basically wrote a book that I eventually published. It took me over a year to figure out how to put it onto Amazon.com. And I had to learn a whole new thing like HTML. I knew some HTML, but not putting together a book that would qualify on there. So what you mentioned baby steps. In that 21 days, how would you break down what it is that you want to do in that for your goal in the 21 days?
We start, first of all, thanks for your question, Brian, and congratulations on moving on to in writing that book. First of all, we'll establish your goal, and you'll be going through some powerful questions on what's getting in the way of you achieving that goal. So there'll be a 20 to 30 minute activity of answering some questions and reflecting on those questions that will help you change your mind and nudge you to take actions. Does that answer your question?
Yes, that's what I more or less did. Yes.
Thank you, Brian. I'm seeing a lot of comments in our chat box, and a number of us can resonate with the topic, and I hope that some of the steps here or the recommendations here, you try them. Anyway, you're not going to lose anything from changing to these new actions or behaviors. Do we have time for another question?
I have a question, if I may, Cheryl. So about something you said. You said at one stage, you have to step back and be kind to yourself. Where's the balance between saying, yeah, I'll be kind to myself, and saying, no, I'm just not going to bother because this is too hard? I mean, where is the balance? How do we find, because it's really easy to say, I'm going to be kind to myself and not do this.
Great question, Graham. And it can vary from person to person. What's your limit? But my personal opinion is that I make sure that I put in the work every day, not really not obsessed with the outcome, but really obsessed, but more focusing on the process. As long as I'm putting in the process, I'm being kind to myself and not really focusing so much on the outcome.
Thank you. I believe there was a question from Ramya.
Yes, Ramya.
Yes. Yeah, thank you, Cheryl. So I know when the circumstances around you in a day-to-day life changes, when would you recommend that, revisiting the goals? Because one of the challenges I feel is that, okay, I start on something, and after 15 days or 20 days, something would have happened in my work life or personal life. And I thought, okay, I have to deprioritize that. So what's your
we
coaching on
can totally relate to that, Ramya. And let me just go back to the number of days we build or break a habit. The 21 days is actually outdated. Scientists are now saying it takes 65 to 100 days to build or break a habit. And that's if you're doing it every day. So let's say Toastmaster, you're only attending once every 2 weeks. So it's just like once a day. Now, deprioritizing it, I think, Ramya, is really setting that commitment. Are you just interested in this goal or are you committed? So if you're at the point that you're only interested, for sure it's gonna be deprioritized. My recommendation is set that commitment that you really are trying to achieve this goal. And one little hack is that it's okay that you skip 1 or 2 days, but never 3 consecutive times. When you hit that 3rd consecutive time, immediately try to go back to your baby steps or whatever you're doing. I wish you luck, Ramya.
Thank
All
you.
right, I see the red screen already. But if you do have any question, feel free to reach out to me, direct message me, or leave your email in the chat box so I can reach out to you.
Cheryl, I thank you for your webinar this afternoon, this morning, this evening, whatever it is, wherever you are. Congratulations, well done, and I thank you for that. And everybody, you'll get a chance to make comments to Cheryl about the presentation, because we're going to do a general round table evaluation of Cheryl, plus a formal evaluation, which I'll provide a written one later as well. So Cheryl, you get to hear from all of us. Lucky you. Moving on now to our second storyteller for the day, and it's Brian. Brian is going to be speaking from the, he wrote it down here, so I just have to go back and find it. It is the, which project are you doing, Brian?
I'm doing from the, I keep forgetting what that one is. It's something about
effective coaching. It's in the chat. It's in the chat.
It's in the chat, right? Thank you. Effective coaching, and this particular project is to connect with your audience. So if you haven't already gone back to gallery view, you can do that yourself. By the way, I have stopped Cheryl being spotlit. So we need the Zoomers, says Brian, and the Zoomers need us. Why? Let's find out. From Effective Coaching, Brian Dodd.
How many of you here remember the VW van when it was king, the one sitting behind Graham? Let me put you all on gallery view. Hold your hand up again. A few of us. Well, I will ask the other question. How many of you here are Zoomers? No, you're not. The Zoomers are now Generation Z. You're between 12 and 25. And your grandparents were the baby boomers. And when I saw that, I thought, that's great. But that's what my audience is. So put yourself back into that age group and listen to what I have to say. Why should you bother with Toastmasters? And yes, I see that you're all shaking your head because you have no idea what Toastmasters is all about. Toastmasters is a club of usually 20 people, could be less, could be more. And we help you to do 4 basic things. We help you to listen, just like listening to your parents, or we help you to speak, which none of you have too much problem when it comes to speaking to your friends. But sometimes when you're talking to your teacher, you might have a problem. We also help you to organize yourself. And you say, well, I'm organized. I know what I'm doing. But then why is your room such a mess? And why do I know that? Well, it was a long time ago since I was that age. And the third thing is we help each other. We encourage everybody and everybody gets better. So let me talk about the three things what a Toastmaster Club does. Number one, you get to learn at your own pace. It's not like the school curriculum where you're told you've got to have this homework done by Monday or else. No. You do it whenever you want, whenever you have the time to get around to it. Mind you, you need to listen to Cheryl and have a bit of a vision of where you want to go as well. And Dr. Ralph Smedley, for those of you who don't know it, he was the founder of Toastmasters clubs over 100 years ago. And believe it or not, talking about persistence, it took him 19 years before he ever established the first club permanently. He would move and it would fail. And then he would move again and it would fail. So he said, you learn better while having fun. And that's what we try to do here, especially at Witty Storytellers, because we want to tell stories. And don't you all like listening to stories? Especially stories about that gray-haired guy that wears a red hat and funny clothes, comes around every Christmas. I like listening to his stories. And the third thing that happens to you is you start to gain confidence. And believe me, confidence is what you need more than anything else, because confidence gives you the ability to believe in yourself. You see yourself accomplishing something and you begin to think, yes, I can do it and I can carry on. So those are the three things that I feel why Toastmasters is good for any Zoomer. Sure, get in it. And I say that it's like riding a bicycle or learning to swim. Basically, you never forget. Once you learn how to deliver a speech or to accomplish anything, like a project, having fun, planning a holiday can be a lot of fun. It could be more fun than the holiday sometimes. Or a wedding. Wow, that's a complicated procedure. So the three things are, to summarize, the three things are, you learn at your own pace. So if something comes along in that period of time, like Ramya said, you can say, okay, I'll put that down and then I'll pick it up. But remember to pick it up and carry on and do it. Don't forget it. Just remember that. And learn better than having fun. And the fun part of of Toastmaster Club is coming up soon. It's called the Table Topics. It's where you get to say whatever you like. And you will find yourself gaining confidence. I've been in Toastmasters now for 16 years, and it always makes my heart bubble every time I see somebody come in and they're nervous, and then within 6 months, you see them gaining confidence in what they're doing. So get on your bike or jump into the pool and accomplish your goal. Or, as Julie says, learn to drive. You never forget how. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you for that. And Brian's speech then was reaching consensus. I'm not sure that we reach consensus because I'm not going to give up my title as a Zoomer because I'm on Zoom and I'm Zooming. No, thank you, Brian. We'll get an evaluation of that a little later. Our third storytelling role today is a little unusual. Normally at this time, we would have a storytelling workshop where a member would talk to us about an aspect of storytelling. Well, instead, I'm going to tell you a story. I'm going to tell you a story of two Toastmasters clubs. There was the Bright and Bouncy Boomers Club, and there was the Down in the Dumps Doomsayers Club. And both of those clubs were meeting around about May in a year. Doesn't matter which year, because it happens in May every year, where the Bright and Bouncy Boomers Club and the Down in the Dumps Doomsayers Club both have to elect the committee to serve for the next 12 months. Now, one group, and you'll never guess which group I'm talking about here, think, oh, I don't have time to be a club officer. Someone else is going to do it anyway. Oh, I don't want to have to go off and do 4 hours of training. Look, I've been there. I've done that. I don't want to do this again. The other group says, well, look, this is something that needs doing. If I don't do this, who will? It should be me. They say, I've gained lots out of being a member of this club. It's time that I paid back to the club and to the organization. They say, you know, I might learn some really good transferable skills if I take on the role of president or vice president education. Well, it's not real hard to work out which club is which. But I do have to tell you that I am particularly pleased to see that Witty Storytellers falls into the Bright and Bouncy Boomers Club rather than the Down in the Dumps Doomsayers Club, because we do have nominations for all positions. But that does not mean that you cannot stand for these positions. I'm going to conduct, as immediate past president, the elections for the 2021/22 officers for Witty Storytellers Online. I will announce each of the roles and then the candidates for those roles, and then I'll call for further nominations. So we'll begin with the role of president of the Toastmasters Club. The president of the Toastmasters Club, this could arguably be considered the easiest of all the roles in a Toastmasters Club, because you don't do any work, you tell others to do it. Well, not really, but you do delegate to the other officers, and your job is to lead, to help keep things moving. So we have one nomination for the position of president, and that is Svetlana Rakimova. Did I get it right this time, Svetlana? I always have trouble with your surname, and I should.
That's fine. No,
it's fine. Well, all right. Svetlana, anyway, is the one nomination that we have for president. Are there any further nominations from the floor? I ask one more time, are there any further nominations from the floor? There being no further nominations, I will declare Svetlana elected as president of Witty Storytellers Online for 2021-22. Well done, President Svetlana. We'll move to the Vice President Education. The Vice President Education's role is to ensure that the educational needs of the members are being met, that they are working through the Pathways Educational Program, that they are learning what they need to learn, that they are teaching what they can offer to teach. So that's the role of the Vice President Education, to look after the educational needs of the members and of the club. We have one nomination for the role of VPE, and that's Julie Curtis. Are there any further nominations for the position of VPE? For the third time, are there any further nominations for VPE? In that case, congratulations, Julie, our VPE for 2021-2022. The Vice President membership's role is a bit like the Chief Operating Officer of an organization. The role is an administrative one, to make sure that they act as the conduit between the individual member and Toastmasters International, making sure that the paperwork is done, making sure that the membership's handled right, making sure that the member is getting all of the administration needs met. We have one nomination for Vice President membership, and that's Shanmuka Raupili. Are there any further nominations? I'll ask a third time, are there any further nominations from the floor? In that case, Shanmuka, you get to keep the role. Well done. Thank you for that for 2021-22. Vice President Public Relations. If the Vice President membership's job is to make sure that the members' details and administration is being dealt with, the Vice President Public Relations job is to get them into the club in the first place, not to sign them up, but to get them to the club. And so the VP PR is, as the name suggests, all about public relations, about marketing rather than about membership. And we have one nomination for VP PR, that is Brian Dodd. Are there any further nominations from the floor? The third time, any further nominations from the floor? In that case, congratulations, Brian Dodd as VP PR for the coming year. We have one nomination for Treasurer to look after the money. I have to tell you, this is one job in Toastmasters that I have never done and have no desire to do. But I am fortunate that we have at least one member who is willing to do so, and that's Michelle Albalim. Now, Michelle is not here, but I can confirm that she has accepted the nomination for the role of Treasurer. Are there any further nominations from the floor? For the third time? In that case, congratulations, Michelle Albalim as Treasurer of Witty Storytellers for the forthcoming 12 months. The Secretary's role is to make sure that the club's paperwork is kept up to date, to take notes during committee meetings, for example, to take notes of the election, to take all of the records that a club requires to function correctly. We have one nomination for the position of Secretary, and that's Ramya. Now, Ramya, I've never actually pronounced your surname. Is it Vadavel? Close? Good. All right. Ramya is our one nomination for Secretary. Do we have any further nominations? Third time, no more nominations? In that case, congratulations, Ramya, and welcome to the executive of Witty Storytellers Online. The Sergeant-at-Arms role in a traditional Toastmasters club is to look after the physical accoutrements, to make sure that the lectern and the gavel and the lights and all those things are there. In an online club, it's a slightly different role. The Sergeant-at-Arms is the host of the meeting, the person who greets everybody, who makes sure that the things are going to work, that we have, for example, a Zoom meeting has been established, and to do all those sorts of things, to introduce the club and to set the theme, if you like, for the club each meeting. We have one nomination for Sergeant-at-Arms, and that is Miriam Strickland. Are there any further nominations from the floor? Third time of asking, are there any further nominations from the floor? In that case, Miriam, you're it. Congratulations and welcome as the club's Sergeant-at-Arms for 2021/22. There is one other member of the executive. They don't get to be elected. They just get to be appointed. That's me as immediate past president, so you don't get to nominate for that. So, ladies and gentlemen, your committee for 2021-22, Svetlana Rakimova, Julie Curtis, Shanmuka Pillai, Michelle Albalim, Ramya Vadivel, Miriam Strickland, and Graham Cairns. Yay!
And Brian.
And Brian, did I miss Brian? I'm sorry. And Brian, yes, yay, Brian. Sorry, yeah, you're right. Your name is on the list here, and I still managed to miss you. I do apologize. Okay, so that's the election. So let's go back to those two clubs that we spoke about. There's the Brighton Bouncy Boomers Club and the Down in the Dumps Doomsayers Club. Now, the Brighton Bouncy Boomers Club have got 7 committee members plus an immediate past president, and they've said, yes, we're going to do a great job this year. The Down in the Dumps Doomsayers Club, they drag whoever they can get into the role. They might get maybe 3 of the positions filled, because they've got to have 3 positions filled. Yeah, you actually are legally required by Toastmasters to have 3 positions filled. Now, which of those 2 clubs would you rather be a member of? I don't think it's really hard to work out which club's going to be more vital and more excited. But here's the thing. We have now a new executive has just been elected. But there are a number of members who are here today and a number of members who aren't here today. who haven't actually put their hand up for a committee role. Does that mean that you can't contribute to the running of the club? No, it does not. I'm quite sure that every one of the officers that's been elected today would love to have you as an assistant, as a shadow, learning how to do it for the future, learning how to do it in case the proverbial bus comes along and runs them over. You have a chance to take part in the operation of the club. Our committee members have been elected, but that does not mean that you cannot be part of it. And I'm not going to say what the incoming president will do, but I do know that I'm pretty sure that your input would be welcome at most committee meetings, but certainly your input before committee meetings and after would be welcomed by the new committee. So that's the election for 2021-2022. I like it when we've got a full slate. It means that I don't have to keep thrashing around and looking for people. Now, that brings us to the next point on the agenda, which is table topics, or in this club, story topics. Because this is a storytelling club, our table topics are all about stories. And to explain how it's going to work for today, will you please make him most welcome, the one, the only, don't swoon, he is only human despite how he looks. Here is Shanmuka.
Thank you, Graham. Today we have story topics on the theme of The Art of Good Life. It's a book by Ross Dowell. So I'm going to ask volunteers, or I can pick someone who can speak on a specific topic or some message from the book for 1 minute of a minimum and a maximum of 2 minutes. And beyond that, our timer's choice. He or she may not accept you to speak longer than that. So the first volunteer, I would like to see the first volunteer from the members. Who is the first volunteer?
I can see Kamal's hand going up.
Yeah, I'll choose Kamal. I need a screen share, please.
Yes.
Toastmaster, can you share the screen share option for me?
Yes, I'm just looking to advanced screen sharing options. All participants can now share screen. You're on.
Yeah, what am I supposed to do?
Kamal, your question for you is this: why your input is more important than your output? Why your input is more important than your output?
Right. So at the beginning of the meeting, I mentioned that I returned to exercising regularly and I lost around 10 kilograms in the past few months. So it wasn't just exercising. Of course, I had to follow some sort of a diet. And my diet was very simple: just eat healthy food. But in today's world, even though such a very simple rule, it's very difficult to follow. As I research more into the food I eat and try to find out how good it is, I figured out like a lot of the food that I'm eating is processed food or mixed with a lot of things that are processed, chemicals, flavors, preservatives, and so on. So my diet idea was just to eat normally, but change the quality of the food, which is the input. So even though I'm still consuming maybe 2,000 to 3,000 calories per day, but now I consume these calories through vegetables, fruits, meat, fish, and all kind of healthy food, and never buy again processed food or cookies or chips and so on. So that change in input, even though it has the same energy value, has actually helped me a lot in my diet and exercise balance that I'm doing now. And so far, the results that I have are fantastic. So if you take this analogy to other things in life, is the quality of the input that can guarantee great quality of the output. If input doesn't have a quality, then it's hard to see how output can have quality, whether it's things like a diet or a production line for a product or other things that we do in life.
Thank you, Kamal. Now the next topic goes to Shaira. Shaira, the less self-important you are, the better your life will be. The less self-important you are, the better your life will be.
Thank you. This would be a statement that probably nobody would disagree with. I have heard it from my teachers, especially the ones who have the PhDs, and they say that the more you know, the more you realize that you don't know. And the more you learn, the more humble you should become. It is something that is agreed upon by all of the learned people, that the idea of education is to not make someone proud. Rather, you would find highly learned people to be extremely humble. If we look at the religious personalities of all the religions across the board, whether it is Buddhism, whether it is Hinduism, whether it is Islam or Christianity, the leaders of all these religions have given the philosophy of self-negation to their followers. And I think that this philosophy gives importance to the people on the other side. They should be respected, their view should be heard, and it sort of links to the goal of the Toastmasters as well, in that sense that here we are also trying to learn to listen apart from trying to speak. And we are trying to give respect to people from all places who are here, as we have discussed multiple times, that this is a platform of diversity and everything. So here also, if we will negate ourselves, it doesn't mean that we should consider ourselves less than anybody else. It's just that listening to others will help us learn. We can understand from their point of view. Thank you.
Thank you, Shaira. And the next question goes to Jagdish. The less you expect, the happier you will be. The less you expect, the happier you'll be.
Thank you, Shanmukha. The less you expect, the happier you'll be. Yeah, I think that's a life lesson for many. I think first and foremost, anything that you gain in life without having an expectation gives you a moment of happiness. I think that is something which is very special. The less you expect. Sorry, let's go back. Let me just can I just check what exactly was you wanted to share there?
The less you expect, the happier you'll be.
The happier you'll be. I think the most important part here is the more we value a lot, we expect a lot, and we get disappointed more. I think one of the most the recent examples that I can I can quote about is somebody who's preparing for an exam, somebody who's preparing for an occasion, somebody who's preparing for something very important. It can get more difficult. It can be overworked for an individual, and it's basically, it builds a lot of stress and mental mental instability in terms of expecting yourself to perform well. I think this is going back to one of the theory which Cheryl spoke about. So it's possible to overwork and over expect on yourself. If you just take a step back and understand what you gain and what you lose, and then probably expect less and just get into the process of delivering what you understand, what you can, and then the outcome will take care of itself. I think that's probably a way I look at this particular statement.
Thank you, Jagdish. And the next question goes to Pai. Pai, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah.
Make it easy, please.
Get to know outsiders. Get to know outsiders, but don't be one yourself.
Okay.
Get
Yeah, one thing that I have learned is that it pays to know many people. You know, it pays to know their quirks and everything. Like we all have that weirdness in each and one of us. And when you share your quirkiness, the thing that makes you weird, and when you embrace that, I find it that when you share that with other people will be also be willing to be open more to you about their weirdness, about what makes them special. Sorry, I call it weirdness, but whatever it is that makes you special. It may be your geekiness, you being nerd about anything and everything. Yeah, and I think it also implies inclusion. It's good that we embrace the diversity that each of us have. Um, yeah, so I think that's it.
well spoken, Pai. And the next question goes to Ramya. Sorry, next topic. Why general knowledge is only as useful as hobby? Why general knowledge is only as useful as a hobby?
Okay, so when we think of common sense on general knowledge, building one is actually, I remember the days where in my school days, we used to have general knowledge as a quiz competition and we used to participate. It will have various sections, like for example, starting from history to sports. And one of the thing I always felt as a woman is I'm not interested in sports, and that happens even till now in our work life, where they have this Christmas quiz. When they have this sports question, I feel like, okay, I'm not that person. So whenever we form a group, if we have an opportunity, I try to see if we have the diverse group to attack general knowledge questions. So one of the thing I learned in recently with my work life is, when you have really diverse set of people, you can really answer these general knowledge questions much better than just having one set of people who knows those sections only. For example, there was a recent question asking about which was the first industrial product that came out in the world, which kind of helped many other new products to come through the line. And there were a few options. I don't remember the option, but it is actually the tailor machine. The sewing machine that that had was the first industrial product that actually helped us to have many more products in those things. So having a diverse group of things helps us to attack the general knowledge.
Thank you, Ramya. And the next question goes to Yvonne. Yvonne, could you unmute yourself? Thinking is to acting.
Thank you.
Thinking is to acting, like a torch is to a floodlight. Thinking
Yes.
is to acting, like a torch is to a floodlight.
Yes, thank you, table topic master. Thank you, your question. Yes, thinking what my action actually is comes from my thought. So thinking is to acting like a torch is to a floodlighter. Yeah, so it's very important. Whenever I interact with the external, the person, or the things, what is make me to interactive with the people, all those things is always comes from what my thought. So the thought is imply my intention. What my intention? If my intention is good or bad, it also come from my thought. So what my behavior or what is the result? My relationship with the people or what I dealt with, it all comes from my thought. That comes from my thinking. So in every day, whenever I get up in the morning, I think of what my intention in this day. If I deal with the people, and if I have this intention in every day I get up, always the day is get me feel very happy. So I think the thought, the thinking is keep our mindset in a good direction. So it's important for me. Thank you. Back to our table topics, Master.
Thank you, everyone. I've been trying to catch Jaldi here and there. Jaldi is moving out. Jaldi, are you there? Jaldi, the topic goes to you. How to realize that you are happy. How to realize that you are happy. Jaldi.
Not sure. Zeldi, are you with us? You're muted.
Okay, how do I realize when I'm happy? Okay, first thing, when I'm not sad, it's either I'm just feeling neutral or I am feeling happy. It's just one of those. So if I'm happy usually when I have done something fruitful, and that's when I know when I'm happy. When I have done nothing, I feel nothing. I don't feel happy. I don't feel sad. I just feel nothing. So it's just that I feel happy after I've done something, and I just use the moment to celebrate my achievement, and with that comes happiness. So back to you, Table Topics Master.
The next topic goes to Hiro. Hiro, could you unmute yourself? How to manage your most important resource? How to manage your most important resource? Hiro. Hiro, are you there?
I didn't seem to be able to hear it.
Yeah, you can. I'll show the question again.
Yes, thank you.
How to manage your most important resource? how to manage your most important resource?
That's a very broad question. First, I have to define what is the most important resource. I don't even know what that might be. Shall we say just the brain and health would be the most important resource. And under that definition, then how do I manage? First, regular exercise, eat healthy. As I think Kamal said, eating healthy helps us keep basically, healthy. And what was that the Greek saying? The healthy mind grows in the healthy physique, I think. So taking care of yourself, that's probably the first thing that I would do to manage my most important resources.
Thank you, Hiro. Thank you. And the next topic goes to Julie. Why you're not responsible for the state of the world? Why you are not responsible for the state of the world?
Mr. Topic Master or Story Master, today is Peace Week or Peace Day. I remember my grandmother's diary. In 1945, she wrote in it, peace, and we cannot go on the streets. She was in Switzerland, and they forbid people escaping the concentration camp to go outside. When I think on peace, I think of everyone who had a problem, everyone who lost someone. We cannot be responsible for everyone. We can responsibly only for those around us. So help each other as much as we can, and very little we can do something to make better the world.
Good message, Julie. And the final question goes to Mariam. Mariam, avoid problems before you have to solve them. Avoid problems before you have to solve them.
To avoid problems before you have to solve them, first you have to think about what the problems might be. This can turn you into a very worried person. Sometimes it's actually better to let the problems happen and deal with them when they arise. Having developed skills of confidence and resilience that Cheryl has helped us work on, maybe it's better if we hold ourselves to be strong and resilient and capable, and then we can handle the problems that come up. I know this because I used to be someone who worried all the time about every possible thing that could go wrong. And that is the best way to be a procrastinator in my experience. You worry so much about all the things that could go wrong, you never ever do anything in case something does go wrong. So I think that trying to prevent everything, trying to anticipate every tiny, tiny little thing that could happen is a great way to become unhappy, miserable, never achieve anything. So I strongly recommend that you let the problems happen and deal with them when they come up.
Thank you, Mariam, and thank you all the story topic tellers who have delivered a good messages to everyone. And I'm handing this over to the Toastmaster of the day.
Sorry, too many screens open. Had to try and find the right one. Thank you very much for a thought-provoking set of story topics there. Thank you, Shanmuka. Now, if you look at the agenda, you will see that we are supposed to have evaluations now. We're supposed to have 2 speech evaluations and then the general evaluator. But before we get to the evaluations, I'd like to find out from the timekeeper if we can please get an indication of the times for both of our speeches and for any of our table topics participants.
Okay. Cheryl's speech was 25 minutes and 30 seconds. Brian, 6 minutes and 50 seconds. And then Graham, you came in at 9 minutes and 23 seconds. Our table stories, 1 minute, 45 seconds. For Kamal, Sarah, 2 minutes, 30 seconds. Jagdish, 1 minute, 58 seconds. Pai, 51 seconds. Ramya, 1 minute, 20 seconds. Yvonne, 1 minute, 56 seconds. Zoldi, 1 minute, 7 seconds. Hero, 50 seconds. Julie, 1 minute, 21 seconds. And Miriam, 1 minute, 22 seconds. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Karen, for that job. Very well done. Now, we are actually about a minute behind, but we do have one less evaluation than we were supposed to. Before we get to that evaluation, no, actually, I've got something I want to do that I want to squeeze in before we get to the general evaluator, but we will go to the evaluations first. And the first is that we're going to do a roundtable evaluation of the webinar, which was presented today by Cheryl. Now, we've only got 5 minutes for this, so I would ask, if possible, what I would like from everybody is something that you really liked about Cheryl's presentation, and perhaps a suggestion that you might make that could make an improvement. I have a few, but I would like to ask around the table first. So try and keep this fairly short. Who wants to be the first round table participant? I'll need a show of hands. Brian, you're up. Don't forget to unmute. You don't forget to unmute.
Mine is a little thing to do with the slides. I was impressed with the Prezi. I've seen it before, and I like that way of doing things. You're standing behind the slide and the slide's in front of you. But when you had the slides there with about 3 or 4 lines on them, but when you highlighted the line, but I suggest that when you're highlighting, instead of just highlighting, bring the line out to a bigger font, because it was hard to see first, I imagine for some of us, to see the print of what it actually said. And that way what you're talking about at that time would stand out.
Thank you, Brian. Other commendations or recommendations for Cheryl? Show of hands. Svetlana.
Thank you, Graham. I thought Cheryl was very enthusiastic, focused on her audience. Very good slide presentation, as already Brian said. Excellent analogy of subconscious mind with baby boss, with tantrums, demands, and that fear of old pattern. I mean, sticking to the old patterns out of fear. What I especially appreciated was Cheryl's willingness to amend the advice that she was giving, reflecting upon the feedback from the audience. I also think that Cheryl is very self-critical, because she is a perfectionist that I see from her presentations, from her stories, and she probably knows how to improve herself, but she made a very good impression upon me today. So I cannot suggest anything for improvement, but the improvements that she wants to make. Okay.
Thank you. Other observations? Yes, Shanmuka.
Cheryl took a very simple topic and she made sure that everyone is motivated with the topic. That part is okay. When she talks about the brain, I was a little worried that a lot of the books on self-motivation, they talk in depth about the brain. They end up talking about brain than the motivation. So Cheryl did not do that. I'm very happy about it. One improvement I would like to do I would like to see from the Cheryl side is I could not see the screens properly. Maybe I don't know whether it is my system, whether it's a problem with from my side or not, but I could not see the words clearly. If you could make sure that the font is a little bigger, it would add enrich your presentation. That's what.
Thank you, Shanmuka. Yes, Miriam.
I agree with Shanmuka. My only small comment is some of the words were printed in red or pink, and then when you came to them, then they came up in a different color. When they're red or pink, I couldn't read them hardly at all. That's all.
All right, I'm going to add a few observations because we're at the yellow light. Cheryl, I really enjoyed the presentation. I thought you covered the territory really well. There are a couple of minor suggestions I could make, and one of them related specifically to this club. Rather than just saying, don't look at the baby, look at the baby boss and etc. You might have told a story of somebody who was facing that and used the story to make your point. The only other observation is, as others have said, it was difficult to read the slides. So a single line rather than 4 items on a line. But I've got to say, this was if I was looking for a life coach, you'd be top of my list. And as a webinar, I thought this was really well done. The only thing that might make it easier for you is a second screen with the chat on a second screen so that you don't need to have it little in the corner and try and look at it. That's a suggestion that was made in one of my online presentation clubs. They said, have a second screen specifically for the chat, but well done. Or get somebody else to look at the chat for you. I really enjoy this. I congratulate you. I know that Julie had something to say. She may add that in her general evaluation, but I thought this was a really, really good webinar, and they're not easy to deliver. So well done to you. Talking of evaluations, our second evaluation is Svetlana. Now, Svetlana has been evaluating the second speech, which was Brian's "We need the Zoomers need us." So to provide her evaluation for a period of 2 to 3 minutes, please welcome Svetlana.
Thank you, Graham. And thank you, Brian, for your very interesting presentation. I felt like I was in the audience of those Zoomers. Your entrance, your introduction was extremely good. It was very humorous start. You used play of words. You referred to Generation Z as Zoomers, and you provoked all of us to say that, yes, we are the Zoomers. And then you said, no, you're not the Zoomers. Zoomers are those who are that generation, a certain age group. But then you introduced the boomers, so you went to the group of the Zoomers yourself, to the group of the grandparents, and you stepped back into the boomers as a grandparent, and you talked about Toastmasters, which is a legacy of, let's say, from the previous century. And then you promoted it, you marketed it to the Zoomers, the value of confidence, for example, that everybody needs. I liked the analogy of learning to speak publicly. You cannot unlearn, it's like swimming. Also, I thought that a experienced and advanced speaker like yourself was really engaging the audience. You were very inclusive in your speech. You engaged the audience, you were reacting to what the audience was saying and incorporating that in your speech. I thought that maybe your background was a little bit further from your speech, but then I thought the topic of the theme of the day is about peace. And what can be a better image for peace than a beautiful picture of the nature? And you blend with your background so well. You were very entertaining, you were very relaxed yourself. Overall, a very good speech, I thought, but maybe I would like to see some images that would be more related to your speech. That's my suggestion. But thank you. I enjoyed your speech today. I laughed several times which is a good sign as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Svetlana. Yes, I think we all laughed, and that was a great presentation. Thank you for that, Brian. And thank you, by the way, for making it fit the time, because I know that you were concerned about it running over. On the subject of running over, we're supposed to go now to the general evaluator, but there is something that as president, I have not had the chance to do anywhere near as often as I would have liked during the year. And so I'm going to take this opportunity right now. And that is an induction. Because fellow Toastmasters, it is a duty and a privilege to induct 2 new members into Witty Storytellers Online Toastmasters Club. This is an important occasion, both for our new members and also for our club, because these individuals have come to Toastmasters seeking to improve their communication and leadership skills, and we now have an opportunity to help them learn and grow and achieve. So, Sarah and Jagdish, you are continuing or joining in a worldwide organization that's helped more than 4 million people learn to communicate effectively. As members of Witty Storytellers Online Toastmasters Club, you'll be given the opportunity to benefit from a proven program of self-development and become part of an outstanding group of people dedicated to helping one another in a spirit of sharing and enjoyment. Membership of this club and of Toastmasters International is a privilege that comes with many rewards, but it also presents some obligations to you. We're a group of people who are brought together to do things that we couldn't accomplish alone. Our collective obligation is to grow and improve ourselves and to share our knowledge and our experience with our fellow members in a spirit of enjoyment. This means you'll have to work diligently toward your own self-development, evaluating other speeches in a spirit of support and sharing, and assisting the club reaching its goals, remain positive, and keeping a smile on your face where suitable. We ask you, our new members, to dedicate yourself to your personal growth, to share this great gift with your fellow members, and to help keep this Toastmasters Club strong and dynamic. So, in the presence of my fellow members of Witty Storytellers Online Toastmasters Club, I'm going to ask you to make an obligation to attend meetings regularly, to prepare fully for each assignment, to apply yourself to those projects as outlined in the education program, to participate fully and actively in club activities, to evaluate others in a positive, constructive manner, to build open, friendly relationships with fellow members, and to bring other members into the club so that they can gain the benefit of Toastmasters. So, Jagdish and Sarah, do you agree to those conditions of membership? Just say yes if you do.
Yes, I do.
Yes, I do.
Good. Well then, do you, the members of Witty Storytellers Online Toastmasters Club, pledge to support our new members in their quest for self-development, to provide positive, helpful evaluations, to provide a friendly, supportive atmosphere, and to give opportunities to help others, and also to make their Toastmasters experience a rewarding and fulfilling one? If so, please turn your microphone on, and by acclamation, please welcome Sarah and Jagdish.
Welcome, welcome.
Welcome.
Welcome, Sarah and Jagdish.
Welcome to Witty Storytellers Online. As I say, that's a duty that I haven't had a chance to do as president as often as I would like, so I was going to do it tonight regardless. Now it's time for our general evaluation to give us an evaluation on my role, on the role of the evaluators, in fact, on anything that hasn't yet been evaluated. So to present that evaluation, please welcome Julie Curtis.
I had no idea I will be general evaluator today. I believed Graham put his name as general evaluator in Witty Storytellers, but anyway, I am happy to give a general evaluation as much as I can. So thank you, our president and Toastmaster of the day. You were very good in beginning of the meeting. We almost begin on the time, and also going through different ups and downs and change of topics. Thank you. It is important to last minute feel what you have to be filled, And also, Graham made a very fast and very nice election business meeting instead of educational. So well done. Thank you. We have a very interesting part in storytelling, and I would like to say that Samulka made a very interesting table topics also. Only somehow the questions were not easy to answer like stories. Don't forget it is storytelling and story topics. You have to answer like stories. In my opinion, you have to ask the question and then find someone to answer. So everyone thinks, will it be me? What I will say when it is me who are asked. I would say about our long educational or long keynote connecting, or whichever was the title exactly. Excuse me, I didn't know the title, but about the coaching session we had, I liked a lot that she used so many slides, and many slides of his son. I like those the most. I would have liked to know with each point something more about her personally. So next time perhaps you could use more personal stories, or stories at least, when you tell a point. It will be better remembered. I like the evaluators, and I think the idea of a round table evaluation is wonderful. And I have noted you learn at your own pace. You take baby steps. You learn better when you have fun. Quoting more our Smedley president. You get confidence from Toastmaster. Indeed. And I love the induction of new members. Welcome, Sarah and Yagdis, to our club. We are looking forward to hear your icebreakers. Even if you don't give the icebreaker speech, when you first speak, tell a story in our club, it is called icebreaker. You have to tell something about yourself or your personal feelings or passion. And thank you very much, Graham, for conducting our meeting.
Thank you, Julie, and thank you for your general evaluation, particularly considering you didn't know you were doing it. I'm sorry, there was a little confusion there about that, but I think you've done a terrific job. All right, so that is the meeting. Is there anything on the agenda that I was supposed to do that I didn't get to? Let me flick around to one of the 27 screens that I have open here. No. I have the club business and the guest comments. So I will do the guest comments and then a little bit of club business, and then we will officially adjourn. But before we do, Hero, any observations you'd like to make after today's meeting?
Sorry, it's got automatic mute thing with this microphone and I didn't know how to use. Sorry. In general, first of all, I think Cheryl's speech was really great. I'm not saying the others weren't. I get to that in a minute, but it was really great, and how great it was to the point where actually after your speech, I thought, okay, I gotta get her contact details and then maybe get in touch about those business propositions. So that was really good, really impressive. And then Kamal, sort of, I'm running every day as well, so it was really sort of, to me, personal as well. And then I wasn't really doing much healthy eating thing, so it made me really think, okay, I better start thinking about that. So that was really nice. And then oh, where are you? Sorry, my tile view went to the second page. Sharma, sorry, I'm not really good at pronouncing names, but your speech or the presentation was really sort of thought-provoking. And when I got the question, I was really sweating. Okay, what it was really sort of a thought-provoking, not just on the surface, but you really have to dive into what you think about yourself and what have you. So that was really nice. So yeah, I mean, I learned quite a bit, and also everyone's sort of chipping in to give positive reinforcement, if you like, to encourage people. So that was really nice. And also, Graham, you are very well organized. And also, I think, if I may, don't take this in a wrong way, but sometimes probably you forget something, but you have a very good way of, how do I put it? Sort of recovering from it. So, I mean, when you have certain people online connected, you'll have some hiccups anyway. But so I thought, okay, that's something maybe I can pick up and try to, because I have to have, for my work, I have to have a lot of Zoom meeting. And of course, none of those meetings go without any hiccups. So I thought, that's something I can pick up. So that was really, really helpful to me. So thank you very much for that.
Well, thank you for coming. And as Svetlana has just said, we would love you to join our club because you're showing potential of being a great speaker. So make sure you put your contact details in the chat. I know you've done so, but do it again so that once again, our Vice President membership can just remind you of who we are.
So, and sorry, I missed out Brian's speech. I liked actually the swimming metaphor. So I just wanted to mention, but I didn't really fall into any of the generation you mentioned. So I was just a little bit taken aback a little bit. Sorry. That might be the reason why I'm sorry about that.
You're talking about the millennials, are you?
I am not actually a millennial, and I'm not even, how do I put it? I'm not in the Generation Z. So I'm actually, I know I look young, but I'm 42 now.
Oh.
So I don't really fall into any of those groups.
You're one of those. Yeah, well, you're not a boomer, but hey.
Yeah,
All right,
we call
thanks, Hero.
ourselves Zoomers. We call ourselves Zoomers, right? And Toastmasters.
Indeed.
Generation
All right.
Toastmasters.
Let's move on to Yvonne. Yvonne, any observations you'd like to make after tonight's meeting?
Yeah, thank you. I enjoyed today's presentation by Sherry, and also enjoy everyone you are sharing. You're sharing very valuable and enhance me to learn a lot of the knowledge from your thought. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for coming once again. We'd love to see you again. And Pi, this was your second or third time with us, I believe, but you're most welcome again. Second time. Cool. Any observations from you?
Yeah, I really enjoyed Cheryl's presentation earlier. I find her to be very confident, and when she speaks in a matter-of-factly tone. So it enables her to establish her credibility as a speaker. And what resonates to me the most was when she said that you can miss 1 to 2 days, but you cannot miss 3 days, because for me, I tend to, I tend to start something, then, procrastinate for like a week or a month, and then I'll start over again. And then for Brian, I really liked what you shared. I also took note of what you said about once you learn something like how to drive or how to take a bike, it's the same thing when you're speaking. And yeah, I'd like to say I really apologize for earlier for the table topic. I didn't realize that I have to share a story. So sorry. I'll take note of that moving forward. And then I also appreciate what Syra shared earlier. I think it's very powerful. She said something about the education. The more educated you are, the more humble we should
Yeah.
become. So yeah, I really like that. And thank you. That's it.
Thank you. Thank you, Pi. And thank you once again for coming along. And we would love to share with you your experiences and have you share with us. So anyway, I'm not going to push membership, but Shanmuka will. That's his job. Thank you for coming along once again. All right, just before I wrap up the meeting, because I believe that's all the guests. Sorry, Sarah and Jagdish, you don't get to be guests anymore because I've inducted you now. There's something I want to share with you. Something which I am really, really pleased to be able to share with you, but it will take me a moment before I can share that with you. Hopefully it's now shareable. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, Witty Storytellers Online is officially a President's Distinguished Toastmasters Club, which is the highest achievement that a club can reach. We have met 9 out of the 10 possible goals, and that's because you have done such a terrific job. As president, it genuinely warms my heart to be able to say thank you and congratulations, President's Distinguished Toastmasters Club, Witty Storytellers Online. And on that note, I'm now going to declare the meeting officially closed. Doesn't mean you have to go, it just means that I'm going to stop the recording. I'm going to declare the meeting officially closed and say thank you for that and remind you that our next meeting is in fact in 2 weeks on the 30th of May. It's an unusual week. It's the 5th Sunday slash, well, it's the 5th Sunday. I'm not sure whether it's 5th Saturday. I don't know. It's too hard to work out. But it will be the 5th meeting in the 5th week in the month. We don't normally meet. We meet on the 2nd and 4th, but we're doing the 1st and 3rd, but we're doing it on the 5th as well. We'll see you in 2 weeks and I'll stop recording. All right. Thanks, everyone. Did you have a good meeting?
Wonderful.